Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Business Plugs Mixer. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug, and today we are closing out Black History Month with Lift Every Voice. My guest, I am very, very honored to have her on today. Before I get to her, I want to tell you a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, if you missed the Grant Magic class I had on Friday, you missed a treat. Businesses learn how to get their grants, where to look, how to look, got set up. And if we're going to have another one, I haven't scheduled it yet, but as soon as I do, I'm going to invite you to it. Talk to some of the people who attended. You're going to love what they learned and come to the very next one. In addition to that, if you are a minority business, if you're a woman owned, if you're a veteran, if you're disabled business owner, I help you get certified. So reach out to me. The link is in the chat. Wherever you're watching this, wherever the discussions is, you're watching it. Go ahead and click that link. Let's connect so I can help you get certified so you can get some of this government grants and contracts so that you can have a sustainability plan. Now, my bookkeeper and all my accounting things, that's done. The housekeeping is done. Welcome to the show, Dr. Holmes. I'm so excited. How are you this morning? We're recording this. So how are you?
Wonderful. Today? Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah,
busy morning, busy day.
I know. People don't know that you get up like at 2 a.m. or something. You get up very early. You have a full itinerary, don't you?
That's right.
Yeah, you have a full itinerary.
I've been up 7 hours already.
Oh, mercy, have mercy. Have mercy. Well, thank you for your yes. I really appreciate you for joining me. And I think this is just paramount for my last recording for the month of February, because it's Black History Month. And so this is entitled Lift Every Voice. And so lift every voice to us means something different, but you're helping people lift their community voices, right? And so tell us about that. Tell us who you are.
Yes, I certainly am. It's important.
Yes. So tell us about Dr. Holmes.
Okay, I consider myself a community advocate. I'm a native of Tuskegee Institute, Alabama. I moved here permanently, I guess, in 2011, but I was coming back and forth since 2001 because of a home I retired to in Pennsylvania. But after getting to Chattanooga and meeting people, I think it was my next door neighbor, Ms. Kilpatrick, that got me involved in community activities because she was very active at the time. Okay. And actually, I only knew Charlene Kilpatrick and Carolyn Jones. Those were the only two people that I knew in Chattanooga when I arrived. Carolyn Jones was in the same profession that I was in at one time. That was in medical record. But I have a long history. I have lived in over 29 places in the United States. I've traveled to about 35 countries. I've lived in Barbados, West Indies. And wherever I go, my mission, my passion as well, is to help others. One of my favorite saying is, by the grace of God, there go I. Growing up in Tuskegee, I got my voice. I knew who I was, a historically Black college there. I had Black teachers. I knew my history. Yeah. I knew I could do what I wanted to do and could do in life. So throughout life, you could not tell me what I could not do because I'm the third generation of educators in my family. My grandfather was a teacher. My father and mother were teachers, as well as my grandmother. My sister is a teacher, and I'm a teacher. So I served as dean in 3 locations, assistant dean, rather, at Tennessee State, dean at Hunter College with the City University of New York, and then dean at East Stroudsburg University. And I retired as dean at Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science in California.
Oh, wow.
So I've had, like I said, my earlier experience was in medical records. And I was known as the guru of medical records because I went throughout the United States And that's the reason why I travel so much and live so many places, is because I establish medical record technology and medical record administration programs in colleges and universities around the country. And that's the
Wow.
reason I was in Barbados. I started one there as well. So
Wow. I love that.
anyway, I've had a long history in education and in the health field.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. And so tell you just had a birthday. And so you mind sharing
Yes,
your
I
birthday?
did. I turned 90 on the 15th, last Thursday. 90 years old. Yes, indeed. 90
So happy
wonderful
birthday to you.
years.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank
And
you
wearing it
so
well, ma'am.
much.
Wearing it very well. Well, yeah. So let's talk about you are a community advocate, activist. I can get it out in a minute. You are a community activist. And what does that mean to people who feel like they're in communities and they're not satisfied with the shape of their communities?
There are three reasons to be vocal and active in your community, because closed mouths don't get fed. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that. Talk without action is meaningless,
Mm,
goes in one ear and out the other.
mm,
Action speaks louder than words.
I love it.
So I am an activist.
Yeah.
When I see a problem, I want to find a solution to the problem. I don't talk about it other than bringing people together. Let's solve this problem. This is the problem. Let's solve it. And when I came to Chattanooga, I I was just trying to find my niche, like I indicated
Mhm.
earlier. And there were two people that two community leaders that I really admired. And they were councilwoman, she's councilwoman now, but she was president of the Arch Neighborhood Association.
Okay.
And Dr. Thomas Diller, who is the um, president of the Glenwood neighborhood where I reside.
Okay.
Uh, Councilwoman Knoll, reason I admired her, yes,
No, no, I'm
reason
listening.
I admired Councilwoman Knoll. Okay, when she was the president of Achinab Neighborhood Association, she accomplished a lot for the residents there. She saw a need. She found partners to help her with the things that she identified as problems in her neighborhood. And she lucked upon the attention of the CEO of Park Ridge.
Mm,
And he said, I will help you.
mm.
And so, because Archinob is in their backyard, Park
Right,
Ridge
right.
is also in Glenwood.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So rather than talk about the problem, let's do something about the problem.
Mm.
So what they did, they wrote a grant and they got money from the Tennessee Valley Association, over $609,000.
Wow.
They pulled together a collaborative of organizations. This collaborative added to that amount of $262,000. So
Mm.
it's quite a bit of money. And they set
Yeah.
out on their journey to solve the problems. They connected the residents with what they call telehealth,
Mm-hmm.
where they could get assistance in getting medicine and care and assessment of their health situation. And in addition to that, the collaborative planted a garden in the neighborhood. And I remember Ms. Knowles telling me that if the city or CNE or one of the organizations, you had to be at a certain level of income.
Mm.
And the CEO of Park Ridge said, I don't care what the income is. If the house is dilapidated, falling in, they need help, and
Mm.
we're going to help them.
That's good.
So one of the collaboratives, I think, was Habitat for Humanities and others that work with them. Whatever the problems were, they solved it,
I
or
loved
they
it. I
tried
love
to
it. Love it.
anyway.
Yeah, I love it.
So
I love it.
I really admired her doing that. And the other person that I admired was Thomas Dillard, Dr. Thomas
Mhm.
Dillard now. He's recently received his doctorate.
Okay.
But back in about 2013,
Mm-hmm.
they had a group called Chattanooga Community Impact.
Okay.
And a lot of the neighborhoods in this area, they were trying to do something for the underserved neighborhoods, trying to get
Mm-hmm.
them organized, trying to get them to get their voices, get the things that they needed, and get the residents involved in that type of thing. I thought it was an awesome group. But
Yeah.
because I'm a visionary and I could see things, I said, if you don't give them the tools to work with after you leave and your money
Mm.
leave, they'll be right back where they were. And that's
Absolutely.
exactly what happened,
Absolutely.
with the exception of Glenwood.
Mm.
Glenwood was one of the few neighborhood associations that became a 501c3.
Mm.
So therefore, they could obtain tax deductible contributions
Okay.
to help them do the various things that they wanted to do. So
Absolutely.
they have toppers on all the street signs in Glenwood. At that time, we had entrance signs to all the entry points of Glenwood, and they're
Mm-hmm.
all down now for one reason or another, with the exception of one coming through Wilcox. You can see it says
Okay.
"Welcome to Glenwood."
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had them at all sections of Glenwood,
Mm.
all four corners of Glenwood. And the Block Leaders Group started during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I was the coordinator of the Block Leaders in Glenwood. The Block Leaders were formed to get their neighborhoods involved in not only neighborhood activities, but the city and the county, or wherever they were
Yeah.
needed to represent their neighborhood.
Okay.
And they just did an awesome job. They were trained by 311, 211, the code enforcement, as well as the police.
Mm.
We had our t-shirts. I have one on now. See if I can raise it up
Yeah,
where
I
it
see
says
Glenwood.
Glenwood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And
Uh-huh.
so we all have t-shirts. Ours is green. Avondale's yellow. You will see me with yellow on the picture. It says Avondale, because after we formed, Avondale wanted to start a Block Leaders Group. And
Okay.
so we
Okay.
started one there. And then Glass Farms wanted to start a Block Leaders Group. And more recently, right before COVID hit, um, Churchville wanted to start one. In fact, I have their sweatshirts and t-shirts in the basement now.
Okay.
Recently, a couple of weeks ago, Bushtown approached me as wanting to start one. So I'm going to, um, I'll say, relaunch them, because at one time under Chattanooga Community Impact, they had Block Leaders, but they
Yeah.
faded away. So we are going to reactivate those, and that way we'll have 5. We are now calling ourselves the East Chattanooga Block Leaders Association.
Okay. It's
And
inclusive of all the
again,
different.
they are
Yeah.
trained about various individuals. And I think I mentioned 211 and United under United Way. Also,
Mm-hmm.
they were trained by them as well as to what to expect and how to stay safe when you're reporting things. Go
Absolutely.
to your next door neighbor and say you need to do this, that, and other. Just report it. And each street had a block leader for the block. If they wanted to take care of the block across the street or down the street or whatever, then that's fine. But they were responsible for the residents on their block.
Yeah.
And we need to come back together and start doing more things. But all during COVID, a lot of them continued to do what they could do
Right.
with the residents.
I love
So
that. I love
I
that.
really admire Dr. Diller for what he did, because we have so many, um, uh, we'll say, presidents of neighborhood associations who want the title but do nothing. And
Mm.
so that is a real problem, because I think that it is time for our special African Americans to find their voices. The reason we have the civil rights movement, the Civil Rights Act today, the reason why we have the Voting Rights Act today, and a lot of the other acts that impact African Americans is because we spoke up. I was a part of the civil rights movement in Alabama. I
Yeah.
met Martin Luther King,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
met Fred Gray, who was the attorney for the civil rights movement. He's my personal attorney right now,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
still living and working at 93. So
Ah,
he lives in Tuskegee now. When Martin Luther King moved from Dexter Avenue, Montgomery, Alabama, to Atlanta, Georgia, Attorney Fred Gray moved to Tuskegee primarily, and so he's in Tuskegee. But and I stay in touch with him, and he just wished me a happy birthday last week. So it is important that we find our voices because of changing right before our eyes.
yes,
And I
ma'am.
don't know whether we know it or not, but especially in the white race, as of 2010, I believe the census said from now on, there will be less and less whites in America,
Mm.
and
I saw
more
that same.
and more African American, Latinx, and other people. So whites will become the minority. And if you watch a lot of what's happening, even through the election, if you are wise and you know what's going on, say since I've lived 90 years, I
Yes, ma'am.
know what's going on. I can see what's going on. I attend a session every Saturday from 12:30 to 2:30 called racial bias, and it
Mm.
consists of whites, Latinx, people from other countries, as well as African Americans. A young lady, a professor at UTK, University of Tennessee at Knoxville, started this group, and we've been going on three. This is our third year, and I think
Mhm.
I've only missed two sessions, and it's very informative, especially how whites see themselves and
Mm.
blacks view themselves,
Mm.
and the same problems that, not the same, but almost the same problems that are existing here exist in Africa, in London, the Netherlands, and other countries that are participating with this particular group. But I think in South Africa and the United States, we have more of the similar kinds of problems.
Mhm.
And if we don't start speaking up in Chattanooga, especially in East Chattanooga, because you hear West Side rising, South Side is on the move because they're getting a stadium, and when they get the stadium, they're going to do a lot of building and renovating, et cetera, in the neighborhood, the South Side neighborhood area.
Mhm.
And so they're on the move. I don't know about North Chattanooga. I think they get about just about everything they want and need. But East Chattanooga is just more or less stagnant. I'll put it that way.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
feel it's because of the lack of voices as well as action on the
Mm.
part of not only the leaders, but the residents in that neighborhood. Give an example, and it can be done. I know it can be done. When we were doing the historic River to Ridge area plan for the neighborhoods between the Tennessee River and Missionary Ridge, all
Mhm.
the neighborhoods north of that, as well as down to Interstate 24. We had neighborhood leaders involved. They were there. They came to one of the meetings and the first meeting, and you could just see they were lost. They didn't even know what was happening.
Mm.
So I said, I could see it, but I don't feel they could see it. But I got a regional planner, a statistician, and a news reporter. And we
Mhm.
met up at Glenwood, and I said, we're not leaving this room until all of us understand what this is all about. That was at the
Mm.
beginning of the historic River to Ridge plan.
Mm.
And believe it's nothing like knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Yes, ma'am.
See, and that's the reason why a lot of things are kept away from people, because
Mm.
if you are an activist and you get the information, then you're going to act on it.
Mhm.
And so many people won't act on it. And I say, you've got to do something. You've got to do
Yeah.
something about the situation. So we put together a fabulous plan. In fact, it was such a great model that regional planning said the rest of the area plans are going to be modeled after this one, the historic River Ridge.
Wow.
And that's where a lot of other leaders learned a lot of the history, especially Black history in Bushtown, where it was one of the first metropolitan cities, rather, that was run by African Americans. They said maybe in the United States, who knows?
Wow.
But if we don't try to capture that history and let it be known and value that history,
Right.
then it will be taken away.
Absolutely. It'd be
The
forgotten.
golf
I
field,
own
the golf
property.
course that they get at
Yeah. I own property in Bushtown.
the golf course. Yeah, the golf course they
Yeah.
have had at Carver overgrown ever since I've been here. It's never been active. And
Yeah.
now what they want to do is put the senior center, standalone senior center on it.
Oh,
So I don't know if that's going to be the case or not.
because it used to flood.
And
We used to live
another
there.
problem we had, yes, yeah, flood, grass down there just growing.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, we have a lot of places that they won't flood anymore.
Yeah.
But just to neglect it and do nothing for years. I've been here, 23 years.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything done down there in that area.
No.
But we are going to have to find our voices. And we're going to have to, as a people, do something about it. Because as I said, change is coming.
Yes, ma'am.
And we need to get on board.
Absolutely.
And we have housing problems, job market. We are talking about crime. If people had jobs and homes and the education that they needed, you wouldn't have the crime that you have to get to the root of the problem.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes,
the
ma'am.
other is that parents today also need help.
Yes.
Our parents today need help. I'm with the Family Justice Center group on the underserved neighborhoods. And we are going to, I think in March, the first part of March, around March 9th or something like that, have a meeting of all neighborhoods at the Carver Center, I believe.
Okay.
And we tried to have it at Arjanav Elementary School, but very few people showed up. If you don't show up, speak up, and become involved, then you will get left behind.
Yes,
We'll
ma'am.
continue to have crime in our neighborhoods until we start doing something about the root cause of the problem.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I already said, parents need help. Our youth need to get their education. They need to know the reason to be educated and go to school and stay in school. And they need to have jobs at a
Yes, ma'am.
livable wage. $7, $10, $12, $15 is not a livable wage in Chattanooga. Affordable housing. If you can't get a job paying a livable wage, then you cannot get these quote affordable houses that they're talking about in Chattanooga. They are too expensive. No one can pay over $700, $800 out of East Chattanooga for any house to rent in Chattanooga. So that's not affordable.
Yes,
So we
ma'am.
have to look at the paying rate. So I'll stop and see if you have any questions. But
No,
again, I want to end by saying that closed mouths don't get fed. Talk without action is meaningless, and action speaks louder than words.
I love it.
Stop talking and start doing.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you. Because I was going to ask you what you want your takeaway to be. And you just give it those three things. Closed mouths don't get fed, right?
Yeah.
Right. Action without words without
right.
action are meaningless. And then you have to stop talking and start doing. So those things that's anyone
That's right.
watching this can take away from this conversation. I really, really appreciate. I know you have to go, but I really, really appreciate your yes. And thank you for stopping by the Business Plugs Mixer. And I actually, I was telling you, I own property over in Bushtown. And so my sister lives there. And so I'm going to ask her to be on the lookout. So I'm asking her to be on the lookout so she can join the committee, because she's action too. She actually does the block. So she'd be a great block leader because she's already cleaned the block. So, yeah.
Right. Yes, totally
Absolutely.
get with me, and I may already have her name on the list because I have
Okay.
about 4 or 5, maybe 5
Okay.
people that signed up.
Okay.
So if she has not signed up, tell her to make sure she
I'll
calls
tell
me
her.
so that
I
we
sure
can get her signed
will.
up. They have Mary Morris has already ordered some of the T-shirts from a grant that the city
Okay.
had. So we're
Okay.
waiting for those to come in. As soon as we get that, we'll be ready to get started.
Absolutely. Well, I am so excited about you helping communities find their voices. And this month, that this is truly lifting every voice, is giving every voice the opportunity to be active and in their communities, help to build, rebuild, and in some cases, recreate their communities to be the positive places where they can live and grow and work. So thank you, thank you, thank you
Right.
for all the work you do. You are appreciated. And thank you for coming on the Business Plus Mixer. My name is Linda Murray Bullock.
Thank
They
you.
call me the Business Plug. And so I just introduced you and plugged you into the fabulous Miss Dr. Evelena Holmes. Thank you again. I'll catch you Sunday, 7 p.m. Thank you for joining the Business Plus Mixer. You all have a great week. We'll see you soon.